comes to businesses, because do you have any idea, like off the top of your head, how many that you are involved in or part owner in? Or
we have about 15 different businesses. When I got out of school, we had my shop in Stone. And then in 10 years later, we started Penn's Best, where Penn's Best is now. And then my mom and dad got divorced. So I ran my shop in Stone for my mother and Penn's Best for my father, which was interesting. And then I left Penn's Best in 1995 because I bought the stone business for my mother. So when I started the stone business in 95, I had 8 guys. Today we have 150 guys.
Wow.
So we have my shop in Stone, my shop in Transport, who does our trucking. We have SGFS, which does all the oil and gas business. We have another company called Outerdice, which does all the construction side of the gas industry. And then we have my shop in Crushing, which is good to us because that actually helps us take the overburden off our quarries. We crush it, we sell it to the gas companies. And then we have another company called my shop in Blasting, who does all of our blasting. So, and I have a blasting. I also have a blasting license too, which I don't currently use because we have 3 good blasters. And then we have Stonehenge. We have Signature Builders down in Scranton, which we got, I think we've had that 6 years now, which is probably one of my weaker moments that if I had to do over again, I wouldn't have got involved with the building business. It's just a tough business.
So when you talk about that, are these startup businesses that you've been involved with? Or
everything is startup except for Signature. We bought Signature. And we also bought another company in Scranton 8 years ago called Scranton Materials, which is in the stone business, which complements our flagstone. So that was a natural for us, you know.
Would you say that it's easier to start a business from scratch or to take one over and rebuild it?
I'd say it's easier to start from scratch.
Really?
Because you make a lot of mistakes along the way, and you can kind of correct your mistakes as you go. When you buy someone else's business, you almost got to walk in, and as hard as I have to say this, you got to fire the person that ran it because that's why they're in trouble. Very rarely do you pick up a good person, you know?
Yeah.
So if I had to do over again, a couple of things I wouldn't have got involved in, and you learn from your mistakes. You know, I always said you cry and you move on. You can't look back.
Right.
You know, I never look back at what should have, could have, went. You know, you can't do that. You just got to move forward.
You know, I'm a small business owner myself, and you know, with by the way, as an owner of Stonehouse, I can't tell you how many times people call us Stonehenge.
Exactly.
So,
that's very close.
I hope it happens to you too. Life in a small town. But,
yep.
You know, one of the things that I think is really interesting is you talk to me about the list of businesses that you have or you've had and you've evolved. It seems like they're related. There's a chain, a sequence of events of how those came to be, how you got to be involved with them or created them from scratch.
Right.
And so to me, and I've noticed being on the volunteer boards and things like that with you, I've noticed that you're a guy who seems to listen to everybody else talking in the room before you actually talk or act. And it seems to me with business, as you're saying that you might do the same thing. You're running this business, and as you're running it, you're listening to and watching for other opportunities. What characteristics are there that make a strong business person? Like, there's got to be some strengths that you definitely have and you're using them, but there's got to be a couple of things that you're like, you know what, I got to stop doing this. This is going to.
Well, I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I was 18 years old, I'll never forget this, and I still live by this theory. We came to the end of the year, and my father said to me, he goes, we got to lose this money. I said, what are you talking about? We had a great year. We made some money. We got to lose this profit. I said, well, this isn't fair. I was pissed off, to be honest with you. He goes, well, I said, Dad, what if we have a bad year next year? He goes, Bill, the government doesn't care about that. We have to lose this money. So that was a really wake-up call for me. And then I started paying attention to financials, operations. And to answer your question, when things are good, you have to put money away. Americans are selfish. You have to have a house. You have to have a car. You don't need a four-wheeler or a boat unless you can pay cash for it. So in my businesses, when things are good, we had a downturn in the 90s, used to get 2 years up, maybe a year down. And from 2000 to 2008, things were robust. You know, we were growing 20, 25% a year. We saved our money because I always teach my son Ryan that, who's a great young guy. I said, things are going to get bad again. So you have to be ready for the bad times. And to answer your question, I feel sorry for all these businesses because some of them may never open, but it might be a blessing for them. Go to work for somebody. Don't throw good money after bad money because that's what could happen. You know, I have a passion for what I do. It's not always about the money. It's a passion. You have to have passion in what you do today, but you got to save what you make. You can't spend it all because there's going to be rainy days. I mean, we're in 2020. We could see maybe something happen in 2024. You got to be ready for it, and you got to protect what you earned, you know.
You're preaching to the choir here.
Exactly.
Yeah. You just made my podcast.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth.
Exactly.
I mean, and I get so disappointed with people. I always tell my employees that. I said, save it. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know.
Right.
Make sure you got a month's payroll put away, or make sure you got some money saved. You know, you have to. But I say I have a lot of friends in business, and I won't mention them. They're my business, and I know we've had good years, and these guys are hurting right now. I'm thinking, what the hell is wrong with you?
Right.
You got to save your money. You can't live over the edge.
Right.
You know?
I've always heard great things from you, from our clients and our friends, and you know, people talk about you when your name comes up. They're like, "Oh, he's a great guy. He did this really nice thing for my family, or for me, or he helped in this." And what shocks me is I hear stories all the time, like, you know, it's weird. I called my shop in Stone, and Bill Ruark picks up the phone, or somebody will say, "I got a load of stone the other day. Bill Ruark dropped it off." And I said, that doesn't surprise me. My family, we came here for the Festival of Lights at Stonehenge, go to park the car, and who's telling me where to park but you?
Yeah,
you know, you're bundled up. It was like 20 degrees, a horrible night, but you were out there in bad weather doing it. Why? First of all, how do you find the time to do all that with your companies? And what's so important about doing that? Why do you stay so in touch?
Well, I think the reason you do that is, we'll start with the Festival of Lights. It was new. I wanted to make sure it ran to me, it had to run flawless, because I was worried about people's safety, number one, incident-free, number two, and making sure people got what they bargained for. And one thing I've learned through the years is you can't ask somebody to do something you wouldn't do yourself. So once in a while, I'll jump in a water truck and I'll run it for 12 hours just because the guys say, well, I can get 7 loads. I said, no, you're wrong. You can get 8 or 9 loads. So if I go to work with them, they always say, Bill, how many loads you got? I said, I'm not going to tell you, because I'm going to do better than you, but you got to do your job and do it right. So, and I think most of my guys respect me, and my son Ryan's the same way. We'll do what we have to do to get the job done. Plus, our customers love us. If we ship a load of stone to a customer in New Jersey and something's wrong, we don't cry about it. We fix the problem. We get the piece of stone down there for the next couple of days. So I think you try to teach people, you know what, walk around with someone else's shoes, number one. And you got a passion. It's not about money. We all have to have money. Quick story I'm going to tell you. When my daughter Lindsay graduated from King's, she's a physician's assistant, 5 years at King's. She got offered a job at Dallas Family Practice, where she currently works. And I think she got offered $50,000 a year. But that was 10 years ago. She said, but Dad, she was disappointed because she thought she disappointed me because I put her through college. I said, honey, $50,000 a year is terrific. And you have to have passion for what you're doing. The money will follow later, but you can't live your life worrying about the dollar. You have to make sure you make a profit in any business. But you know what? If you take care of your customers, take care of your people, life should treat you good, and give back also.